Welcome back to our channel / podcast, BVB Army Hearts to Hearts. My name is Ruth.
And I'm Nicole.
And we have an amazing fan with us today in this awesome episode.
I'm Sammy. I'm 21. And I've been a Black Veil fan for, I want to say like a year and a half. So I'm a very recent fan.
And for those of us who are watching and listening, Sammy actually was in one of our previous episodes last year when we did the Phantom Tomorrow Countdown when we had other fans. So we are happy to have her back on our show and / podcast to finally hear her BVB story. So thank you again, Sammy, for coming on. So
welcome
back.
So good to be back. I feel like I'm home.
Oh, thank you. As you guys, for those of us who are watching and listening to our podcast, as you see from the title below, it's Sammy's BVB story. So just like previous episodes, we're going to ask her questions and just listen to her story. The first question is, how did you discover Black Veil Brides?
Well, in very not Black Veil Brides universe, I was a very big Disney Channel fan as a child. I was a big fan of Cameron Boyce, who passed away a couple years ago. I saw that he was in a show called Paradise City, and I was like, I really like, this is really sad, and I want to see, his, last final works of art that he made. So I watched Paradise City, and that's where I discovered Andy. I really loved the singing in the show, and I was like, this is really cool. Who is this guy? Not knowing that it was Remington's voice, which I didn't find out until like way later. But in any event, I looked up Andy, found Black Veil Brides and his solo project. From there, just like started listening to anything and everything that I could, and the rest is history.
Nice. So you said you discover Andy from his solo project. Which album did you first discover his We Don't Understand or the Ghost of Ohio one?
I think I actually listened to In the End first, because I looked him up and that was like the first song I think that popped up, and I was like, this is so cool. I don't know why, but I never put together that I would love rock and metal music, because I was always like, I like this melody and I like heavy guitars and I like bass and I love breakdowns and stuff like that, but I never put together that is kind of the rock and metal scene. And then I was listening to the Black Veil discography, and I'm like, this is everything that I love. Why the hell haven't I found this before?
Yes, rest in peace, Cameron. He was a wonderful actor and everything, and he did a wonderful performance in the Paradise City series and stuff. So.
Yeah, sorry, I Ender is, of course, he slept all the way until now, and now he's like freaking hyper. I know, you get Ender. Oh my god, I am so sorry, you guys.
Oh, you're good.
We'll start fresh now. So Sammy, out of all the Black Veil Bride songs, which one is your favorite?
Oh, that's a hard one, but I think the song that I can listen to on repeat is probably We Stitch These Wounds from the Restitch These Wounds album. That one oh gosh, I don't know, something about it. I think it's the perfect balance for me, screaming and whatever. Yeah, probably that one.
That's a good one too. I can't lie. The Restitch These Wounds album, I mean, of course, we all love the original, but the remake, the revamp of all those songs is absolutely incredible. I mean, they were done amazingly the first time, but it's to have the second time done around. And of course, to have Lonnie on that track, of course, is incredible.
And also Cece, because Sandra did the one with the original. Cece finally got to do the
Ruth,
remake.
you are 100% correct.
Yeah,
That's
well, and it's also they're the same songs. I mean, except for Mortician's Daughter, which Jinx did a beautiful revamp of. I find it interesting that in different moods, I'll listen to the same song, but from the different albums. Sometimes I want the original Knives and Pens, and sometimes and if I'm in a different mood, I want the Restitch These Wounds Knives and Pens version. It's not an exclusive I'm just listening to Restitch or just Restitch. It's they're the same, but sometimes they're so different in that it's different moods and stuff like that. It's
for sure. You definitely keep them balanced.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So from your favorite song, we now ask the toughie. I'm always prepared here, as you saw. What is your favorite album that they came out with?
Oh my goodness. I would have to say, I think The Phantom Tomorrow. It is like, it was Wretched and Divine, because that was just like an absolute masterpiece. The amount of work that went into it, this story, everything was just so awesome. But The Phantom Tomorrow, I think like with the addition of Lonnie and like how much fun they seem to have, like the happiness that they have as a band, I feel like really came through on the album. So every like song like obviously has its own meaning to them and it has its own meaning to me. But it also just, it represents kind of like the story, but also the duality of, I know that they were so happy making this, and that makes me so happy. Like that brings me so much joy. So like it's impossible to be like sad while I'm listening to that album, even Fall Eternal. Like even though it's sometimes like it can be like a sad song in a way, I'm still like so happy listening to it, which is very like the duality of it makes me laugh sometimes.
I love that answer though.
I know. And I think you nailed it, because there are tears, but it's more like comfort and happy tears for this album. So, all right, Nicole, it is time for your signature question.
That's right. Are you ready, Sammy?
Yes, I am ready.
I must ask you, because I ask everyone this question. You prefer, and this is going to be interesting too, because considering that you are a newer fan, do you prefer the original We Stitch These Wounds or the remake Restitch These Wounds?
Oh goodness. It's like I said before, it depends on the mood. Sometimes I'm like when I want to scream into my pillow, I will listen to We Stitch These Wounds, just because it's just like such a raw scream from Andy. But I'd have to say, like, in terms of production and stuff like that, probably it would be Restitch between the two. And I also I don't know, I feel like I let other things influence me too when it comes to that kind of stuff, because listening to the band talk about Restitch These Wounds, kind of saying this is what we wanted it to sound like. What we put out was really good for Restitch, but this was the original. Like when we envisioned these songs, this is the one that the versions kind of that we wanted to present to the world. That definitely has a little influence, but mostly it's just Jake's production is insane. It's insane. And I'm just blown away.
I think Jake did an incredible job. I just feel like all of the band as a whole, they just keep progressing as the years go by.
Yeah, I mean, on all of them, their work ethic is just crazy. Never being complacent. We can always do better. We want to grow and evolve and keep making things that are true to us. It's so nice to see.
And with the remake of We Stitch These Wounds, I just remember listening to their first song that they released, You Blasphemy, crying so hard, because I think it just, at least for the fans who've been there from the start, it just brought core memories of wow, it's really been 10 years since their first album. And whoa, the growth and everything from what they produced from when Restitch These Wounds to Restitch, it's so
well. And I think what separates what makes Black Veil Brides so different from a lot of other bands, and I'm not trying to take away from any bands, because I'm sure there are a lot of bands that do this, but Black Veil Brides is always trying to find more ways to better themselves, while you still have some bands that once they hit that peak, they're like, oh no, we don't have to change, we're top notch, we're good. For Black Veil Brides, Phantom Tomorrow is obviously legendary, it's phenomenal, but to them, they're still we can do better than that. And I love that they're always trying to outdo what they did last time. And I feel not a lot of bands are trying to do those kinds of things.
They're definitely pushing themselves, but at the same time, I don't get me wrong, Nicole, I 100% agree with that. They're trying to see what they can do better and everything, and what they can improve and so on. But at the same time, in my eyes, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, it's they're also staying to who they are, to their core of this is where we started. This is our core. We're not going to lose that, because obviously our fan base knows that, and if we lose that, then we lose who we are as a band.
And I 100% agree with you. I think they have, to this day, they have managed to stay true to who they are while continuing to progress to the top.
Okay, so you have conclude that The Phantom Tomorrow is your favorite album, what are your thoughts on this beautiful album that they have produced?
Like, I mean, it's crazy how Andy's mind works in like building these worlds. Like after becoming a Black Veil fan, I don't know how other people make albums. I'm like, do you just throw like a bunch of random songs onto like an album? Because like in my mind, a concept album is like, it makes so much sense. Like every song has its part to play in a story, but it can also be listened to as a standalone and still give off a message. So I'm like going back and like other albums that I enjoyed, and I'm like, did they just throw a bunch of random songs together? like what is the core that's tying all of these songs together? And I found that every album that I really enjoy has like a certain story to it, even though it's not like a concept record. There is like an underlying theme or something like that ties all of these songs together. I think that The Phantom Tomorrow, especially with the music videos being so well done, it's an album, but it's also like its own world. You know, you have the comic book, you have the music videos that kind of tell their own like condensed version, you have the album. It makes me so happy to listen to it, knowing they were happy making it. They were able to express creatively what they wanted to express. And it just makes me so excited for part 2. I'm so excited.
I think we're all excited for part 2. So
I think you
yes, I hope they continue to do concept albums after The Phantom Tomorrow, because I don't know why. I definitely agree with you, Sammy. I feel like concept albums are just, they're so underrated. I feel not many bands do them. So when bands finally get the opportunity to create, oh my gosh, I just feel like it creates a whole new world. Am I the only one that feels that way?
No, like
I don't know.
So when Black Veil Brides came out with Wretched and Divine, I was just like, when the first like interlude and everything, I was just like, I felt like I was part of that universe of the Wild Ones, the Legion of Black. And I'm just like, it was like feelings I've never experienced, because again, like with you, Sammy, I've listened to other albums too from other artists. And so after listening to Black Veil Brides, and especially after Wretched and Divine, I went back to some artists that I listened to in their albums. I'm like, they just put a bunch of songs together. Is there no story? I mean, don't get me wrong, the album's good, but I mean, I like this song, but it doesn't correspond to this song. I'm like, Wretched and Divine, you go directly to this song and it makes sense. So I'm just like, my mind was blown when the concept album, especially when Wretched and Divine came out. So it's just like,
well, and I feel like even besides The Phantom Tomorrow and Wretched and Divine, all their other albums, despite them not being a concept album, they still, like, as you said, they still tell a story. Like, even if it's a story that you make up in your own head, I mean, I feel, because I know every song, you know, we all translate it differently in our brains, you know, we all create this whole story in our head. So I just feel like even with their We Stitch and Set the World on Fire, Veil, etc., all the other ones, they all still tell a story to everyone. May not be the same one we all have, but that's what kind of makes it cool.
It kind of reminds me of what Andy said about doing live shows, in that like it's kind of an art form, because every show is different and every show is unique. Even if it's the exact same set list, you know, you're not going to move the same. Like you might take different, breaks at different, places. There might be a proposal at a show that makes it unique, and it's like the purest art form for me. And it's just like, it's so cool to see. And also, like with concept albums, anyone can do a concept album. It depends if it's good or not. I mean, we're all unique in our own ways. Like no one is like anyone else. And with his specific set of gifts that he has, I feel has given him the ability to do concept records, but also do them really well, in that like thoroughly thinking out a story, lyric wise, also making sure it makes sense, but also being able to have, the lyrics correspond to the story, but also be, can be listened to as a standalone. Being able to do it and do it well is definitely the key, and I think he does both.
So Sammy, off of The Phantom Tomorrow, we ask, what is your favorite song off of there? And if you can't pick just one, we ask that you do a top 3.
All right. I'm gonna say Born Again, but only because of my first initial reaction when I was doing like the Hot Topic listening party. I've never had this happen to me where I was I was squealing like a little girl. And I was like, I was like, I had my pillow and I was squealing into it because it was so good. But then I was like, I was forcing myself to stop because I couldn't hear the song over myself. So I was like, it was such an inhuman noise. And I was just like starting and stopping because like there were, you know, the bridge and different parts of it. And I had like such a visceral reaction to that song. And it's still my favorite. I'm still waiting to see it live. I really, really hope that they are gonna rotate that in for Wake Up, but we'll see. They have so many good songs, and Jake was like, yeah, we made our set way too long. Yeah, so I'm gonna say Born Again.
It is a good song. That song is just, yeah,
it's a really good track.
And I do hope they do play it for you when you go to see them live, because I know they're rotating that with Wake Up.
I'm like, I don't know how people did it like without YouTube and stuff like that. I'm trying not to watch too many concert videos, but like at the same time, it's like, oh, I can't wait for it and I really want to see what's going on. Like it brings an added level of joy, like to be able to see what happened on different nights. But
that is true.
What I was gonna say, I know you don't want to watch them, but I mean, if you end up cracking and you break down and you watch them, the best part is when you go to your show, it's gonna be different.
Yeah,
you know, they're gonna, everything will be different.
The energy is different. Like I cannot emphasize enough for those of us watching and listening. I even mentioned this on the last video of my vlog of my concert experience. The energy in this concert is insane. Like we have these 3 big bands and like they're rotating. The lineups are not the same. Like it could be Black Veil Bride's middle, first, or last. And the crowd, the fans for all bands, it's the energy is like insane. Like it's energy that you've never felt before, and it's just amazing. It's just amazing. So
I remember my first Black Veil concert was the day after my 21st birthday last year in November. I had never seen a mosh pit before. I had never seen like crowd surfing, because any concert that I've ever been to has been like a pop star or whatever, and I was never near the pit. I never like wanted to be there. And I was like, are those people fighting? And I was like waiting to see like if security was going to break it up. And I was like, oh, that must be what a mosh pit is. It was such a fun experience of like, and especially like the venue that I went to, it was a Palladium in Worcester, Massachusetts. And the way that it was set up was there was the left and right decks. So I was like right above the pit to the side. So super close to the stage, and I could see everything happening below me in the pit, but I didn't have to be in there with the pushing and stuff, which is kind of nice. But it was just like, oh, it was so crazy. It was just like so much energy. But I'm also really looking forward to seeing Lilith Czar.
yes.
I love her newest album. It's so good. And I'm like, I had been wanting to see her for so long, and they announced, and I was on my way to class and I literally stopped in the middle of the sidewalk and I'm like, no freaking way.
I will say hearing her live, like Spokane show was the first time I ever heard her live. And she is very talented. She has a very beautiful voice, and her performance overall was just beautiful. So you will enjoy her performance, definitely. So I know you've been a fan for a year or so with Black Veil Brides. What has been your favorite memory with them? This could be through social media, your first VIP experience. So
my first VIP experience was very fun. It was the last, this previous tour, and all I heard was someone say, Andy is so tall. And I was like, okay, like I don't like, and people were just like staring at them. I found it very like funny. Yeah, VIP was awesome watching, because the last tour they came up and stood behind you while you took the photo. The first people to go didn't know that. Their reactions were very genuine. It was a really fun experience. But I have to say, I think my favorite experience with the band has probably been interacting with Lonnie. I've done a couple video calls with him that he offers, and it's just like, it's so nice to see a person behind this big production that they put on and stage persona. Like I was talking to Lonnie about this, that like there's no book on like touring. I'm a STEM major. I'm in college, going into the healthcare field, there's no like book on touring, like how tours work, what the different occupations are, like how things work, scheduling, all those things. So my favorite experience has really been being able to speak with someone who is in the band and also just learning about, their lives and the industry that they work in. Nothing of the behind the scenes that, goes into such a big, production and tour. So, it's been really fun to get to know him, get to know the members. Jake has his Twitch streams, Andy has the Andy show. So it's been really fun to get to know them as people and, see the different sides of them, what they put out on stage versus what they put out in their personal lives and how the two mix and how the two differ. So yeah, I've just been really enjoying, getting to know everyone.
Well, I'm glad you've been able to talk to Lonnie in the Zoom calls and stuff. And Lonnie, I'm sure we're speaking for a lot of the BVB Army. We're hoping you have a nice and quick recovery of your broken leg and stuff. So we're sending nothing but love and vibes, good vibes to you, sir.
And I definitely think that there should be a book about touring, because I feel that would just, for a lot of fans, be very beneficial for fans to read, if we're being honest, because, I feel there is so much work that goes in, so much planning, so much time that not a lot of people actually realize. They think a tour is as simple as, oh, you just get to choose which dates, what dates you want, what venues. Like, it's so not how it goes.
No.
There's so much time and effort that it takes to plan. So I can't lie, I would love to read that book. This should be a thing. Someone make it.
Or like those,
preferably
books.
Someone who has the knowledge, though.
Not
just some random person that's like, I'll do
the
it.
books that are coming into my mind, it's like those, I can't read. It's like Touring for Dummies.
Oh yes, all of those. Yes,
all those type of books. It's like, this is Tour 101, the planning, the venues, the setup, the songs, the stage setup, the stage takedown, the green rooms, the snacks, the tour bus scene, everything. So
there's so much in it, and it's just like there's so many moving parts. And I didn't realize that until talking to a member of a band, especially like, when fans are like, please come to, so-and-so or whatever.
Right.
And it's like them saying, we don't have control over that. And I'm like, you don't? And it's like, no, they actually don't. There's promoters, there's local, stuff. There's, national stuff. There's stuff with labels and stuff like that. There's no, real books on it that I found so far. It's hard to go to college for this, I feel like. I feel like there's definitely is like music management at different colleges, but I don't know how much stuff that you learn there actually translates into what the scene is now. And especially it definitely differs between genres. Touring with a pop star is different than touring with a rock band. I feel like
true.
It might be a safe assumption. I don't know.
I think there's similarities, but I think there is a difference when it comes to any genre, like a group like BVB to a solo artist like Billie Eilish.
I always felt like to get one of those crew member jobs, I always felt you had to know somebody to get into that kind of field. I feel like that's how it is nowadays. You always have to know someone.
Yeah. Again, you're right, Sammy. There's not much about touring information, and which I'm very grateful that Lonnie does behind the scenes on his YouTube channel. That way us fans can see oh, so that's what it kind of looks like to kind of live on the road a little bit and everything. And you're right, Nicole, you got to know someone too. I think the closest to classes, I guess, courses you can take for these type of things is event planning, but that's just pretty much it though. So
I want to know what else you would do for it, to be honest.
Organization, that's all I know. You need organization, communication skills. So
exactly.
Something I think that Lonnie answered in one of his YouTube videos was someone was like, how do I become a tech or something like that? And he's like, the more instruments that you can tech, the better your chances. If you have a guitar tech going up for a job versus a guitar and drum tech, that can do both, or guitar, take care of Jinx's violin and guitar and stuff like that. That's definitely, I don't want to say more valuable, but it's you have a broader skill set.
Right. And I also think it's not just for sound check and anything with the guitars and drums. because the friend who I went to the Spokane show, he took theater with me, but he took the tech courses. And so he was learning how to do the soundboard and the lighting. And I figured if you have that under your belt going into college or anything, helping with event planning, and you mentioned that if you're trying to get into a tour group, like you have experience with the soundboard, you have experience with the lighting, great. We need that on tour because every soundboard can be different, technology, lighting too. So
we're like, how do we get this job?
How do we get it? Please. Honestly, I just want to know, like, so BVB, what can I do to like, I don't know, just be there to be your makeup artist on the road?
Right? I know. I mean, I feel like that would make sense, cosmetology.
That one's a bit easier, but Right. So our next question is a bit of a deep question. So how has Black Veil Brides impacted your life?
I think that I definitely found the band at the beginning of a period in my life where I was kind of questioning everything. And just like having internal struggles with like liking this type of music, but also like I was raised Catholic. I am Catholic still to this day. So I was like, how can I like this and have this other thing that I identify as? I struggled with it for a while. And then I kind of realized that we find that like the songs that, the band makes have their own meanings to us. Like we kind of talked about that earlier. And I just found that the songs, I could really make them mean something to me that, and it encapsulated both of those identities, like a Black Veil fan and, being a religious person. I like, the theatricality of it and all that stuff. So it kind of really helped me see it's okay to be open-minded. It's okay to do research on things. It's okay to like different things and not, judge yourself for those things. And I definitely feel like I never really had friends that liked the same music as I did. I'm an only child. My parents gave me most of their musical taste, which is mostly country. So none of my friends really enjoyed that kind of music. And then just like getting on social media more and, being in quarantine, doing courses at home, the music really helped me through that and also opened my eyes to all of these friends that I've made through the BVB Army. They just brought so much joy. Like, seeing Cassidy's artwork is incredible. Just like I never knew that people that were that talented existed. Like it was just like just blew my mind, all the fans that I've met. And it really I found a sense of home that I was kind of missing at that point in my life. The band's music helped me, and then being able to see them as people. The Andy show really helped me too, get some humor when the news was very bad, and it was just so fun to watch old episodes. It brought me a lot of joy and conviction, and I feel like that's the only way that you grow as a person, is kind of going through those trials and stuff like that. So yeah.
That's beautiful. I love the fact that Black Veil Brides was able, I just like the fact that you were able to connect with Black Veil Brides on that level, and they were able to, kind of help you branch out and find, to kind of, I guess the musical taste, what I'm trying to say, really, like the fact that they were able to, you were branching out and able to look at different genres of music, and not even that, but you made new friends. And I think that's what's most incredible. And as you said, you found a home, and that's what the BVB Army is all about.
Yes. Family. And that just warms my heart, because time after time, I'm going to continue saying it. BVB is family. I think you're the first one that has actually said, I'm home. This is home. And it just warms my heart so much. It's like, I just want to give you a hug, because
I know. Well, it was just I had never felt it, felt that kind of unconditional support before in that kind of context. I remember seeing, Ruth, your TikToks, and I messaged Ruth on Instagram, I'm going to my first BVB show and I don't know what to bring, and I don't know if this is okay. Can we find a time to video chat? And Ruth didn't know me at all. it was just like, sure, like, like we'll find a time, and like we did, and it was just like wow, like someone was like willing to take time out of their day to talk to me about this like band and this concert, and like had the same amount of love for it. And then also like Chris is awesome. I was trying, like I'm somewhat of a football fan, and I was trying to listen to the Orange and Andy Black podcast because I was starting to get into football more, and like Chris was so helpful, like was trying to help me find it because I couldn't find it because I'm not really technologically literate. Yeah, he's just been so supportive and stuff like that on Twitter, and tweeting updates and all those things. And to see like a parent like so invested like that was just something so beautiful to me. So it feels like a family. Like you get, I think Ruth, you coined the term like BVB dad.
Yes.
Like he's all of our fathers.
Chris, you are BVB dad. That is your official title. You are.
Yes. Yes, it's official. But it's just like it really felt like that. Like it really felt like I had found another father, and like sisters and brothers, and other friends. Like
I agree with you 100% with that statement. Like Chris is BVB dad. I have a BVB mom. I consider Nicole my BVB sister, like close sister and everything, and like all the other fans and brothers too. Like it's family.
Yeah, for sure.
Sammy, do you have by chance any Black Veil Bride tattoos, or do you have Black Veil Bride tattoos that you're wanting to get in the future?
Yeah, so I don't have any tattoos actually right now.
Okay.
I am, yes, I am completely uninked right now. I've been thinking about getting one. The rule that a friend gave me was you have to want it for a year at least. Be thinking about it. Especially like my first one. Like I feel like after my first one, like when I know what to expect and all that stuff, maybe a little bit quicker. But I'm also like trying to figure out placement and stuff like that. I do want a BVB tattoo. Shoulders. I really want one like on my wrists and stuff like that.
That's a good spot.
But I'm also like I'm going into the healthcare field, and I know they're getting better about it, but like my dad has one on his shoulder. It's Bugs Bunny eating a carrot, which is so funny to me. He got it when he was like 18. I really want one on my wrist, but I'm also like kind of like, I know it's getting better in terms of like workplace, like will I have to wear long sleeves every single day? Like as long as it's not anything like offensive, can it be out? So that's something I'm kind of wrestling with, but I do definitely want one. I'm thinking probably lyrics, but I also kind of want to get like just the small logo. I'm thinking about multiple. I just haven't gotten them done yet.
First one's always tricky because it's your first one.
Yeah,
first one's always the scariest too.
Yes. Nicole, your first one was the Lost It All lyrics, or was that something else?
Yeah, my first tattoo was the Lost It All lyrics,
right
on my back of my right shoulder. I was terrified. I literally hopped off the chair, and the tattoo artist had to chase me around the room because I was pretty terrified. I was like, "You're not gonna tattoo me today." She finally sat me down, and she's like, "Look, let me just do the last word." She's like, "And if it's too painful, it will just be an S." And man, let me tell you, like 50 tattoos later, I'm addicted.
I had a similar experience. I didn't run away like Nicole did. So
you're braver than me.
Well, I think I even have a photo somewhere on my Facebook, but my first one was this one with the Lost It All tattoo lyrics and everything. I wanted that since I was 16, so more than a year. So I got it for my 21st birthday. Why not? I was nervous. They put the stencil on, they're getting the machine ready. And as soon as the needle hit, I don't know what to expect. I really did. I did so much research to like what to do before the day before, hydrate, eat, everything. And then I heard the pain here is not that bad. Tattoo hit. I have the photo. I will have to insert it here. But it's like my eyes, my face was like, I was like, I don't know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting that when I got it.
I know. It's one of those where you're just like, that's actually not bad. Like, I mean, to be honest, I think the best way to describe a way a tattoo feels, in my personal opinion, is if you ever have had a sunburn, and if you've ever had a dog or a cat scratch the sunburn, that's like the equivalent to what a tattoo feels like. But I will say, this, I think the most annoying part about a tattoo is the itching.
Oh,
Can't
thank you.
itch. You have to smack it.
I was just like,
whack.
yeah, you don't want to scratch
So you're
it.
sitting there smacking yourself like, stop
It's
itching.
so annoying. Like, it's like you know you can't scratch it, but you really want to. So I end up like smacking it, or I've heard it hack. I don't know if it really works though. It's like scratching around it, but it's just like concerts. So you've only been to one, correct?
Yeah.
Yes. So how was that concert for you for the In-Between tour?
That concert was great. I unfortunately I was like sick that weekend. Like I've always had like a sensitive stomach, and it was like my 21st birthday on Saturday, and I spent pretty much the whole day in bed. And I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to this concert on Sunday. So I went, and it was so cool. Like Dead was amazing. I brought a friend with me. You know, I had VIP, so I got to meet them. You've been to Claire's? Do you know Claire's?
Oh God.
Yes.
Yeah. So I went to Claire's and got like these really cool like lace gloves. And Lonnie had like almost a matching pair. Like mine just like stopped at my wrists, and his went all the way up to his arm. So we were like matching, and we kind of planned it that way because I told him which date I was coming to, and that, you know, he had seen me wear them before. So it was kind of fun. He was like, I saw the gloves because I like you had the masks on, and he said my name, and I was like, how do you? And he was like, he's like, I see the gloves. And I was like, oh. So that was really fun. Yeah, like I said, I was up on the deck overlooking the pit. Like I feel like I could have almost touched like the stage. Like it was so close. Obviously, the speaker was right there. So I was off to the side, but it was really, really cool. I was able to, you know, make eye contact with the guys. It was, you know, it was just like, it was all of the being close and none of the like getting kicked in the head from a crowd surfer. Yeah. I think it was a really good like first experience, just because the hotel that I was staying at was like right across the street, so I didn't really have to drive anywhere, and I felt like very safe. It was a little bit after Astroworld, and Andy made a point to stop and say, everybody like look after each other, because like the crowd surfing was insane. There was moshing like kind of under where I was, and he was like, we don't need anything dangerous happening, like look after each other. And I just appreciate that, like, because I know that like the theatrical show that the band likes to put on is so important to them, and I enjoy it too, but recognizing the importance and severity of safety, and kind of taking a second to say, hey, like this is fun and this is great, but make sure like you're taking care of each other and, you know, making sure everyone's safe. I really, really appreciated that from him.
Well, I'm happy that it went well for you, especially for
Yes.
your first Black Veil Bride
I
concert.
know. And I'm happy you were with someone and not by yourself. So that's always a plus there.
I think I'm going to this upcoming one alone, but I'm kind of excited because like last time I had made a couple friends in line, but I was scared, like not scared, but like I didn't want to like make my other friend feel like I was ditching them. Like this time I kind of have the freedom to like make a concert friend and like stick with them almost, kind of.
I like that. I feel that I need to go to one of these days. I'm going to have to. I'm just telling you guys now, it's not going to happen, but I would like to try to go to a concert by myself, because I'm always going with someone, whether that's like my mom. I've never gone with like a friend, to be honest. I've only gone with my mom or my husband. And I've always been, because I'm with them, I feel the same way. I don't want them to feel like they're third wheel, because I'm interacting with someone else. So I always try to just stick within my bubble, and I'm just shy anyway. So the chances of me getting up to talk to someone are rare, but I feel like if I were to go by myself, it would be the same way. I'd be able to approach people and make more friends.
That's happened to me, because most of the Black Veil Brides concerts I've gone by myself, just due to no one wanting to go, or let alone be in a mosh pit or barricade or whatever, line up early in line. At the Resurrection tour, I ran into some people in Seattle, and we just became concert buddies. Like we met up for Andy Black in the Ghost of Ohio tour, the In-Between tour, and this recent one, Trinity of Terror. Like we are concert buddies. Like we ask each other, like, are you guys in line? It's like, yeah, come over, we're here. And so we just let each other kind of, you know, cut in line. We happen to be in Barricade for the Trinity of Terror, and it's just awesome because you have those buddies now because you've met them before and you've seen them in previous concerts. So yeah.
I think it's going to be really fun to go by myself and find someone that's as excited as I am.
If you think about it, even if you do go by yourself, you're still technically not alone. You have all those fans there that I'm sure any one of those people are willing to be friends with any person that just speaks to them.
Yeah.
As long as you have the same band in common, you guys are going to have a good conversation.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. So I'm going to be at the Wallingford, Connecticut show. So if anyone is watching this and going to that show and you see me, say hi. Because more than likely I am going to be nervous, but trying to be social. Yeah, come say hi if you see me. I would love to talk to people.
So out of all of the Black Veil Bride eras, which one is your favorite?
You could thank Cassidy for this one.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks, Cassidy. Honestly, like The Phantom Tomorrow is my favorite album, but like my favorite era in terms of like looks and stuff is Wretched and Divine. Just because it was so like creative, bringing it back kind of with Lonnie's, you know, Redeemer jacket now. And like, dude, my heart when I saw that was just like so happy, like so happy. Like I couldn't even, like, it was like full circle moment. I can only imagine like the warmth in my heart that I would have felt like if I had been a fan since when Wretched and Divine came out, and to see that.
Just like seeing all of them with their Wretched and Divine, the Legion of Black names, the titles that they had back on their jackets. I'm just like, here, I'm like freaking out. I was like, you're bringing Wretched and Divine with the Phantom Tomorrow. I'm living for this. And my wheels are like spinning here and gears are thinking like, is this a hint to conspiracy theories that the Wretched and Divine universe connecting corresponding to the Phantom Tomorrow universe, Black Veil Brides? I mean, why else would you be bringing your titles back from Wretched and Divine? I'm just saying. So.
Well, and also Shadows Rise and Shadows Die.
Exactly.
They're already connected.
They're bringing back the vest. Imagine incorporating red into that. So they have like a whole black and red theme going. Oh my gosh. Killer.
I will be dead if I see that. I will be lying on the ground with my face down and be like, I can die happy now. Thank you.
Like to have like the two like intertwine like that, even just like, you know, Shadows Rise and Shadows Die, and, you know, bringing back their names. It reminds me of like how epic the Wretched and Divine is and how epic the Phantom Tomorrow is. And just just so excited for the continuation of the story, and also the what's it called, the part 2, because I know that like Cece's all-time favorite Black Veil song is on part 2, like, and I can't wait to hear it.
Oh, I'm excited. What?
So how has been your experience with the BVB Army overall, Sammy?
I have not had a negative experience. I have really met a lot of awesome people, especially like in Jake's Twitch stream. You know, everyone that's been there, almost everyone is a Black Veil fan. And it's just like, it's been so nice to get to know people. And obviously like getting to know people through this show and podcasts and stuff like that. Been talking to Catherine a lot. I love her like Twitter updates. They're just like the best. I really haven't had a negative experience. It's just been welcome home. No judgment. Like, we share this in common. We can talk about the thing we share in common, or I can just listen to you. And if you're having a tough time or you need someone to talk to, like, just shoot me a message. And it's like, I'd never really had an experience like that before. It's just been so nice to like know that was there if I ever needed it.
Nice. Well, I'm glad.
The biggest reason why the BVB Army is number 1.
Yes.
I'm happy that you haven't had any negative experience, in which I'm hoping you never do. So
the last question that we have though for you today was if you have any questions for me or Ruth that and it doesn't have to be Black Veil Brides related at all.
I had one. So I wasn't able to get a copy of the comic book, and I've been so curious. So I wasn't sure because I think by now everyone's probably gotten their copy.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. I really hope so.
They should by now. Gosh.
So I remember watching the videos, and Scarlet Cross Andy had his blonde hair and Scarlet had her dark hair, and then they flip-flopped in
Fields of Bone.
Fields of Bone. And he said that there was a story reason why he switched, like it had a meaning in the story why his was blonde and hers was dark, and then they switched and hers was blonde and he was dark. I couldn't find like why, like what that had with the story, and I wasn't sure if it was in the comic book or not.
I don't recall anything about her hair or anything. In the comic, she has brunette hair. So like in Scarlet
maybe it's
Cross.
in like the second issue.
Maybe because
that's what I was actually wondering. I'm like, maybe it's going to be the second issue where we start to find more information.
We just got introduced to her. I mean, I don't know if this really counts to her as blonde, but like in this page, like the third page here, when Dennis is showing, not Dennis, Dennis is Blackbird. What's his name again? Anyway, Scarlett's father's showing a photo to Dennis, and it looks like I don't know how well. Maybe she has blonde hair, but that could just be like a color choice or something, or a filter or reflection. So it doesn't really say. So maybe in the second issue.
Okay, I just wasn't sure. I'm just so curious.
There are some parts where I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but like her hair looks red too.
Yeah.
Right here. It's like I think that's what's kind of fun about comic books though, is the amount of detail that they've put in, but like the color swaps are pretty cool.
I think if Andy does says in the story, I feel like once we get some more backstory of Scarlet, we'll perhaps know about perhaps a color change or something. So
and you said you don't have the copy of The Phantom Tomorrow?
The comic book.
Not the comic book.
No, go ahead. I feel like I know what you're gonna say, so go for it.
I was just gonna say, if you don't have it, they are selling some in the merch table at the concert.
That's what I was gonna say. So perfect.
So honestly, just get one because they are selling them in the merch booth there.
Okay,
for anyone watching, if you didn't get the chance to order one,
selling it in the merch booth. Grab it. You can have it physically in your hand and read it while you wait.
I feel like that will be like the only other chance you guys will have besides someone selling it on like Depop or Etsy. I don't know, but
price, but yeah. All right, BVB Army, it is the time of the episode where we do the fan shout out. So today's episode fan shout out goes to, we apologize in advance if we butcher it. Sorry. So at least on Twitter, her username is at Allie Mew? Question mark. She was actually the fan that I ran into in Spokane's show. You saw a glimpse of her in my vlog, and she's recently new to BVB too. And from talking to her from the concert and just overall from social media, I can tell she is in love with BVB and all the hard work. Big fan of Lonnie Eagleton. She actually, I don't think I even got it. Oh yeah, I did in the vlog. She got this little stuffed Labradoodle plushie for Lonnie to represent Mila for him. So it was very sweet of her to do. So fan shout out goes to you. You're amazing. And Sammy, would you like to say anything to the fans or to the band here before we wrap up here?
Yeah, I just think I want to say, thank you for being so welcoming. And I've just been, had so much fun getting to know everyone. I will be at the Connecticut show on the Trinity of Terror tour. If you see me, come say hi. If anyone wants to reach out to me with questions or anything like that, I am still fairly new, but I would love to talk to anyone that wants to talk about BVB or just life in general. I'm sure my stuff will be in the bio.
Yes, you have an Instagram, Twitter, and anything else?
TikTok,
Not
right?
really. Wait, what?
No TikTok?
I have a TikTok. I do post BVB stuff there. So yeah, I have a TikTok too.
All right.
So I can
TikTok
put that there.
then too. Well, Thank you, Sammy, for coming back on our show and sharing your BVB story. We definitely enjoyed listening to it and your experience of everything BVB related. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you guys for having me. I had a blast.
We will definitely post all of your social media links down below. So BVB Army, go follow her. If you want to talk to her, please talk to her. She's such a sweetheart and everything. So
yes, you are so kind. Really, I feel like everyone should be as kind as you, Sammy.
I know you are. You are.
There's enough hate in the world.
Facts.
There's no need to add more. Why would you ever do that?
I'm right. It's funner to be kind.
It is. And you feel better. Like Andy says, we learn from all of your hate. We learned we don't hate.
All right, BVB Army. Thank you for watching our episode. For those of us who are listening to our podcast, thank you for listening to it. Remember, you can find all of our social media links down below. You can find Nicole and I's social media accounts down below with Sammy's. Go follow us on our Twitter account and listen to and watch our past episodes here and there. Cards are here, there, I don't know where. And we will be back next Wednesday with a brand new episode. So we will see you later, guys. Thank you.
Bye.